In New Zealand, some stories are so insane, they feel like they have to be made up. We're talking gods, monsters, and warriors. But one of these legends is bigger than all the rest, a story of a man of impossible size and terrifying power. This is the story of Kiharoa. What if the most terrifying giant in history wasn't a myth, but a real-life warrior chief who was 12 feet tall and literally ate his enemies? Ancient traditions tell of a man named Kiharoa, a name that made people run in fear. This is the insane story of his rise to power, his savage reign, and the one mistake that cost him everything. Before we begin, if you love uncovering hidden, dramatic moments from history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment with your thoughts. It really helps us bring you more stories like this one. So, just how big was this guy? Ancient oral traditions describe Kiharoa as a legit giant. His name meant the long gasping breath, probably because of his incredible size. Legends claim he was 12 feet tall. That's literally twice the height of a normal person. Now, was he actually 12 feet tall? Almost definitely not. This was a way to show his mana. Think of mana like a superhero's energy source, or a video game character's ultimate power bar. It was his spiritual authority and sheer presence, and his was off the charts. Some people think he could have been 8 feet tall, which is still absolutely massive. There's even a landmark called the Giant's Grave that's almost 14 feet long, just to show how huge his legend became. And get this, Kiharoa wasn't the only giant. There are stories of an 11-foot warrior and a 9-foot chief. But Kiharoa was on another level. He was said to use a massive weapon so heavy no regular warrior could even lift it. Covered in tattoos, he was the ultimate, perfect warrior who could terrify his enemies into losing before the battle even started. Kiharoa had a massive fortress at a place called Tokanui, and from there he waged war on basically everyone, especially a rival tribe. In this type of warfare, winning wasn't just about land, it was about utu, a concept that's way deeper than simple revenge. Think of it like a cosmic balancing of the scales. If a wrong was committed, that spiritual debt had to be repaid, often brutally, to restore balance to the world. For a warrior as powerful as Kiharoa, just beating an enemy was not enough. To completely absorb their power and show ultimate dominance, he would eat their bodies. I'm not kidding. The oral histories are brutally clear about his cannibalism. And while it's shocking to us, this was part of the warrior code for some tribes back then. It was a terrifying spiritual belief, almost like downloading an enemy's life force to make yourself stronger. For Kiharoa's enemies, the fear wasn't just being killed in battle, but of being totally erased, your body eaten, and your head put on a spike to decorate his fortress. His entire reign was built on psychological terror and what seemed like superhuman strength. For all his power, you will not believe how this giant was finally defeated. It wasn't by another giant or some mythical beast. The most common story says his enemies launched a surprise attack. As Kiharoa ran down a hill to crush his attackers, he slipped on a patch of wet leaves. That's it. It was like watching a mountain crumble because of a single loose pebble. In that 1 second, the giant was vulnerable. He fell, and his enemies swarmed him. There's another version of the story, where he was challenged to a one-on-one duel by a much smaller warrior. To make the fight fair, they supposedly dug a pit for Kiharoa to stand in, bringing him down to his opponent's height. In this version, a clever trick beat the giant, not just bad luck. But both stories end the exact same way. The great Kiharoa was killed. His reign was over. And in the ultimate act of payback, his enemies did to him what he had done to countless others. They butchered and ate his body, taking his enormous head as the ultimate prize, the final statement that the unbeatable giant had been beaten. The story of Kiharoa is an insane mix of real history and over-the-top legend. So I have to ask you, do you think Kiharoa was a real giant? Or did his story just get bigger and bigger over the years? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Whether he was a literal 12-foot giant or just a man whose incredible strength became a legend, Kiharoa remains one of the most extreme figures in history. His story is a crazy reminder that even the mightiest can fall, and that legends are echoes of real history, real values, and real fears. He was a warrior, a chief, and a cannibal, but above all, he was a giant whose shadow is still cast across New Zealand.